So let's talk about AI in our schools. It's this huge debate, right? Is it this incredible superpower that's going to make us all smarter? Or is it just the ultimate shortcut to, well, to cheat? The answer, it turns out, is a little more complicated than you might think, and it might just change how you see learning itself. Let's dive in. It really all comes down to this one big question. I mean, we've all had that whoa moment with something like ChatGPT, right? That feeling that all our work could just get done for us. But when it comes to actually learning something new, is that a good thing? Are we at the end of an era, or are we just at the beginning of a totally new one?
But look, before we can even really talk about AI's role, we have to get real about the situation it's landing in. And the truth is, education was already facing a massive two-front crisis, long before anyone was talking about large language models.
First, let's talk about the teacher crisis. This number, wow, 74%. That's the percentage of teachers who are so burnt out, so overwhelmed, they're actually thinking about quitting. And why? Because the workload is just unsustainable. They're spending countless hours on micro-marking and analyzing data instead of, actually teaching. And it's not just the teachers who are struggling. This goes hand in hand with a student crisis. Think about this. In a developed country like the UK, a full 20%, that's 1 in 5 kids, leave school without being able to read and write properly. It's a clear sign that the old one-size-fits-all model just isn't cutting it. So into this perfect storm, along comes AI. And what do students, the people who are actually on the front lines using this stuff, what do they want from it? Well, their feedback is, let's just say, brutally honest. They see it as the ultimate shortcut. You gotta laugh, right? This is an actual piece of feedback from a student on an AI platform. And it just perfectly captures that very human desire for the path of least resistance. We all want a magic button that just makes the work disappear. But this isn't just a funny little story. Nope, this is a real trend. The data shows that it's the exact same proportion, 1 in 5 students who admit to just getting AI to do all of their homework. They're not using it to help them figure things out. They're using it to completely skip the learning process. And this is where we get to the heart of the problem. When an AI spits out a perfect, well-written answer in seconds, it feels like you're learning. But that smoothness, that fluency, it creates what psychologists call an illusion of competence. You feel smart, but your brain hasn't actually done any of the heavy lifting. No real understanding has been built. Okay, so if shortcuts and easy answers are actually the wrong way, then what's the right way? Well, the answer comes from neuroscience, and it's a concept that kind of flips our whole intuition about learning on its head. It's called the productive struggle. This is the secret sauce. Real, lasting learning, the kind that sticks with you, isn't supposed to be easy. It requires this very specific kind of mental effort. It's that feeling you get when you're wrestling with a tough problem or digging deep in your memory for a fact. That struggle isn't a bug, it's the feature. It's what actually forges the connections in your brain. And look, this isn't just some feel-good theory. This is hard science. Researchers have identified 4 specific, evidence-backed techniques that all harness the power of this productive struggle to make learning stick for good. Okay, here they are, the big 4. First, you've got retrieval. That's actively pulling info out of your brain, which is way, way more powerful than just passively reading it. Then there's spacing, which just means doing that retrieval over time, not cramming it all in at once. Third is generation, forcing yourself to come up with an answer, even if it's the wrong one. And finally, reflection, which is getting targeted feedback so you know what to fix. What's the common thread? They're all harder than taking the shortcut. So, you want to see this in action in the real world? Let me tell you about one of the most intense memory tests on the entire planet, the exam to become a London black cab driver. To pass this test, which is called the knowledge, you have to memorize, get this, 26,000 streets, plus thousands of landmarks and points of interest. And here's the kicker, no GPS, no navigation apps allowed. It is pure, sustained, productive struggle for years. And this is where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. When neuroscientists put these cabbies in brain scanners, they found something incredible. The hippocampus, the part of the brain that handles spatial memory, was physically, measurably bigger in the experienced drivers. All that mental effort didn't just give them knowledge, it literally changed the shape of their brains.
Which brings us all the way back to AI. Now, the first instinct might be to just ban it, right? To get rid of the shortcut. But what if that's the wrong way of looking at it? What if, instead of being a tool to avoid the struggle,
AI could be the perfect partner to help create it. Just think about it for a second. An AI that's actually designed for learning could be the ultimate coach. It can use spaced repetition to quiz you on something right before you forget it. It can force you to generate your own answer instead of just giving it to you. It can provide instant, targeted feedback, just like a personal tutor. And maybe most importantly, it can automate all of this, finally freeing up teachers from that mountain of busy work. Okay, but that leads to a pretty fair question. If AI can help us learn so well, why even bother building up our own knowledge base anymore? The thing is, in a world flooded with AI, real human expertise becomes more valuable, not less. Look, AI is a phenomenal partner. It can sift through data and find patterns that humans could never see, leading to incredible breakthroughs. But AI doesn't ask the big questions. It doesn't set the ambitious goals. We do that. Our knowledge isn't just a collection of facts. It's the raw material for creativity, for innovation, for every new idea. AI is here to supercharge that process, not replace it. And that really brings us to the single most important takeaway from all of this. If you want to learn something, create something, or discover something new, you have to remember this. That feeling of effort, of struggle, that's not a flaw in the system. It's not a sign you're failing. It is the whole point. It's the critical feature that makes learning happen. So the next time you fire up an AI tool, just ask yourself this one simple question. Is this thing replacing my thinking, just giving me that comfortable illusion of competence? Or is it expanding my thinking, pushing me, challenging me, and helping me do the hard work that leads to real, lasting growth? Because ultimately, that choice is up to us.